Hi, in this video I'm answering questions for signs of wings. Nudity. Okay. Hello, in the next video I'm answering questions for signs of noise.
Hi Sasha, how are you? Are you in quarantine?
Yes, of course. I'm in quarantine too and I'm fine. And yeah, it's like the same as for everybody else. Trying to do my stuff anyways and got a lot of work actually. And yeah, calming down a little bit. All our shows are cancelled, so there's no traveling this summer. And it's a little bit different. But I mean, I really don't want to complain because I think this is good for all of us and probably the better solution. And yeah, just let's take the chance and take the time to do something cool.
How does this situation affect musicians? What can musicians do?
Of course, it drastically affects the musicians' lives in general. Some more, some less. For me, it's not as bad as for others because I'm working as a producer mainly, I have to say. So I can still do my job, work from here. I can't do certain things, I can't travel and stuff, so I had to cancel some things here and there. I had to cancel my workshops and the shows with Avantasia, but the rest was really okay. So I'm anyway at home working in my regular environment. I mean, basically it's almost the same for me. So I'm sitting here in my studio and that's it. Other musicians are affected much worse, because if they totally concentrate on playing live and stuff like this, also all the technicians that help on the road, I mean, they are really sitting at home and have nothing to do now and no income, and this is really bad. I mean, of course, the income and the money flow in general goes down, so everybody that has his own business at least will feel the effects, except some few businesses, and but the musicians obviously are affected super drastically, directly, with no income now. But at least in Germany, the government kind of helps in a good way. So not for everybody, because there are of course certain conditions you have to fulfill, and so some people just fall through the net in a way. And it doesn't work for them, but quite some people could be helped, and yeah, I hope that most of the others can survive in any other way with some help of others. I mean, we try to help each other also doing certain things, and yeah, we just hope the music business awakes again, healthy, and can come back to life as it used to be. But it will probably change. I mean, I think this is such a drastic thing that happened, so it will change stuff. It will change the way people approach music, life in general, but music, the music market is highly affected. And I would say it could survive in a healthy way, but it will be a little bit different afterwards.
How did you come up with the idea for the Masters of Ceremony project?
Yeah, for some years the head of the record company Frontiers in Italy, Serafino, called me a couple of times every year or something like this if I would not be interested in doing something under my own name, and I never was in a way, because I didn't really think about it before, and I thought, why should I do something with under my name? And then he also was talking about Heaven's Gate, or a project like Avantasia, like a rock opera, and I didn't want to do this either, because we do it already with Avantasia, so why should I do the same thing? And I was also kind of happy with what I was doing, and yeah, but I don't know, this one day I just thought about it again and thought like, yeah, but why not doing a metal album the way I look at metal, and just to show how I approach it when I I have the full, not control, but like, yeah, it really comes down to my ideas basically in the first place. And this is what I did. And we started this Masters of Ceremony thing, get the people together, the people I like the most, and like super great people, and friends of mine. Asked Adrian, because I was just working on her stuff, and first I was thinking about a male singer, but then just came to my mind like, why shouldn't I use Adrian? Such an easy and obvious choice, and she was a friend too, and yeah, everything was coming together easily, and then we worked on the stuff, and the outcome was this album. And yeah, I'm really happy with it, and we hope that we can also do it live. I mean, we just did one show so far. Not at the moment, we can't even really think about plans. Actually, we have plans for the beginning of the year, if all goes good, next year. This year, nothing is possible anymore. We had some possibilities for festivals, but that was already not sure, but now of course nothing is happening anyways, and I really hope we can restart next year freshly and try to debut in a way in the live field, because the first show we did was on Mallorca. It was a little bit inside this, I mean, it was not an open concert because it was in a hotel where you booked the whole week. It was called Full Metal Holiday, and yeah, I'm pretty happy we did this, and now I really want to go for it.
Did you write all the songs, or did you work together with the rest of the band?
I really wanted to set a certain style and a certain way of songwriting for the first album. That was the whole purpose of everything. So I did most of the writing, and I just I did some songs together with Adrian, and okay, some additional ideas. I mean, I just gave the stuff, for example, to Corvin and said, let's just throw some keys on, and that's what he did, and that was cool. 4 songs together with Adrian, and the rest I did on my own. And but that was a very good experience to work with her together. And my plan is, once this direction is set, everybody knows what to expect, and we have something to start from. And I really want to do the next album in a different way. I want to have everybody being more involved and work on it more as a real band, with more time, and in a real recording environment where everybody plays together and we arrange the stuff together. That's what I really want to do. Most of the bands don't work like this anymore. It's a very old school way of working, but I love it. I do it here and there with other bands, and I have to say, when I think back, always the recordings I did that way is the stuff that stick to my mind and I'm proud of, and I have a certain memory to it, and it's really the stuff that I love, and I think you can hear it. And this is going to be the next step with Masters of Ceremony. Hopefully, if everything comes together well. I mean, I hope we can meet.
What's your favorite song of Signs of Wings?
Oh, that's very hard to say, because there's a couple of tracks I really I love, and turned out to be very cool in the end. It's, I mean, obviously the choice of the videos reflects a little bit what I like, because I don't choose it for commercial reasons in a way. I just choose the stuff that I like, and I totally like The Time Has Come as an opener and as a first video, because it's really fresh, raw and rough, and this is how I see metal. And I love Die Just a Little. I really like this song. I like the atmosphere, but I like quite some other songs too, like Signs of Wings or Sick, or yeah, I totally love Where Would It Be, Really like that song. There's a certain flair to it. I have to say, it even reminds me to some emotional feel of old Angra stuff. There's a light approach in that song and a certain rhythm and groove that reminds me to very old Angra in a way. So it's this turned out really cool, but it's still very heavy. Also, it's not light. It's light and heavy in the same way, and it's a nice. I mean, I have a very nice memory to the old Angra times, and yeah, and even some people recognize this. It's not done on purpose. It's probably the groove and the way the melodies are chosen, and yeah, it's really cool. I like this one too, so I'm really happy with that album.
You were the producer of the first Angra album. Can you tell us a little bit about it and about Andre Matos?
Yeah, Andre, first of all, I was not the producer on my own. I mean, the main producer was actually Charlie. We did it as a team, Charlie Bauerfeind and me. That was the first bigger album we worked on together with Angels Cry. And it was very, we had very good times doing that. And I wasn't mixing back in the day, so he did the mix. And we both together, we did the artistical production and the recording and engineering and stuff like this. And I worked on the keyboards a lot. So yeah, that was my job. And recorded Andre and stuff like this as well. I mean, I basically recorded all instruments. We shared the recordings on all instruments in a way. And yeah, it was a good time. And yeah, first time I met Andre, there was like this chemistry from the very beginning on. He was somebody I could really talk to. We had long talks until the mornings after the recordings, and sometimes we were sitting there still 8 in the morning because we used to record at night a lot also, and then talking about the music we love and what we are, how we see ourselves in the future. And it would be great to one day to do something else, a little bit outside the metal, because we also used to listen to stuff that is not metal necessarily. And so we always wanted to do an album like that. And so this idea of Virgo that we did later on was already born back when we did the recordings for the first album. And yeah, and it was, I always had good times with Andre. He was a guest in my house for many times and long times. So he spent probably, I don't know, 1.5 years in my house combined. And yeah, was a good memory. I mean, I have a good memory. I have to think about him many times actually. Especially nowadays, there's still stuff in my apartment that reminds me to him and that he brought with him, or I don't know, I just look outside the window, sometimes we talk about him. I remember Andre like coming down there with his morning suit, like wandering around in the garden, collecting snails and stuff like this. Andre was like something like a mad professor, like an intellectual person that was really lovely and really chaotic. The way we worked was, I mean, he really liked to sleep long, and sometimes I had to wait forever until he would be able to start working because he had to do his stuff. And it was a good time, funny time, and I really love remembering all those tales of ourselves when being together. It's like many things to talk about. I mean, I could talk for hours about him, and we do that sometimes. I mean, for example, Miro and I, we sit down and we talk about Andre, and there's a lot of stories and a lot of stuff. And I really liked him as an artist too. He was a very deep artist that really wanted to create something special and didn't really care so much about what other people do, and had a certain emotional relation to music and a certain way to sing, of course. He was very different, a very different type of singer. Very sensitive. and very, yeah, he could really, he had a lot of control about his voice. He didn't have the typical rock voice that some people maybe prefer, but he had a very special voice and a big impact in my life as well. I have to say, really miss him. And the last years we didn't see so much, and we always talked. I mean, I saw him a couple of days before he passed away. We played together in Brazil, and we talked. And it was very cool to talk to him. And he said, as he said a couple of years before, I will drive down to Wolfsburg with my Volvo from Sweden and visit you together with my son. And I said, yeah, you got to do this time. You promised already. And yeah, he asked me some things. Is this still there? This still there? I have to show this to my son. I said, yeah, of course, you got to come by. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. And I was very shocked about the news. And yeah, I hope he's doing fine.
Back in 2007, you had a huge influence on relaunching Avantasia. Can you tell us how this happened?
Yeah, it was like, I guess it was like this. We talked about Avantasia, and I don't know, with Toby and I, we talked about this whole thing and how successful it was, and people asked him all the time about it, and he really loved to work on this back in the day, and but it's probably not possible to do it again and stuff like this, and he would have ideas, but he doesn't really know how to approach it, or like he didn't really go for it or something. And then I said, why not? Just, if you have an idea, just send it to me. I'll work it out and I'll work on it. And then you can decide if it makes sense for you to do it again. I think it would be a great idea to revive Avantasia. I think it would be good. And that's what he did. And he sent me a first idea. And I worked on it, sent it back, and he was totally into it and said like, wow, I really love that, and we got to work together on this. And this is the way we worked it out. Also, he sent me ideas and I would work it out and put myself inside as much as I can. And yeah, together we created something that was really cool, I think, and I really loved the whole thing, and Toby too. And then we just decided to really go for it and bring it to life. So he got a record deal, and yeah, we finished the album, got some great guests for the album, and then we talked about the whole live thing. He said like, this would never be possible to get it together for live. It's a pity. That would be so great. And I said, of course it's possible. You just gotta ask around, ask the people. You ask AC, which is our agent. He's our tour manager, and he takes care about our touring stuff for our agency. And let him ask around. And that's what he did. Toby talked to him, and he checked the possibilities, and the promoters were like really happy to hear about this news and thought it was a good idea. And so we did this as well, just checked all the people, tried to get everything together, got the band together. He gave me a little bit of the responsibility to put the band together, to search for the people, and yeah, it was a great thing. It was very easy, so we could work with friends, old friends and good people, and that created something really special in the end. I mean, the first tour was like, every tour is great, but when we did the first tour, it was really, really cool, because it was like a school excursion. We were like traveling in the world, like a school class. It was so good. It was just a very, very cool experience. And ever since we have this experience, it's just a great thing to do, and we all love it. And you can see that on stage too, I think. So this is really an honest, cool project where everybody is in for the fun and for the love. And yeah, it's great. I'm so happy that we actually did this, and yeah, this came to life like this. And yeah, I'm still enjoying working on it so much. We just working on stuff, and it's great. It's really, really cool to work on Avantasia music for me. It's very good to work with Toby. He has great ideas and a very good vision of what he wants to do, very good sense for melodies and also lyrics. I really love the lyrics. And so also artistically, it's a really cool project, and yeah, I'm really grateful that I'm in it and that all this came together as it did. Yeah, makes me really happy.
What do you think about reuniting Heaven's Gate?
I really get this question a lot of times, and I'm really not, I'm not really planning to revive Heaven's Gate, because I don't really see this, at least not at the moment. It's just it's kind of far away. I mean, I know people asking, and we actually had a little approach a couple of years ago for touring. We asked around a little bit if there would be interest and stuff, because I don't actually remember why we started the whole thing. But then people were asking, and I said, okay, we are checking promoters, and we check the possibilities, what we could do when we play, when we tour, if we could tour, and what could be the possibilities. And actually, it was very hard to put a tour together or something like it. So that means if we would come back, in quotations, with Heaven's Gate, it would mean we have to do a new album, really start over, do a new album, start touring in a small setting, in a way, a lot of work. And I'm not sure it's right, because it's maybe not for the right reason. I mean, if we would still like hang together all the time and talk about it and this and that, and then it would totally make sense, but we hardly do. It's like we love to think about the old times that were great, and I really love the stuff that we did. I mean, we did some really cool recordings and some cool stuff, and I really think it was a band that was a little bit different. It was not the regular power metal band. It was different and had lots of cool influences, and it was a cool style and combination of styles, and very fresh. And it was also a lot of work, actually. And I don't think this work is gonna happen now. It's just not, I don't think it's gonna happen. And yeah, maybe ask me again in 5 years.
What can we expect to see on your YouTube channel in the near future?
Nudity. I'm planning, and we're talking about stuff, but I'm also not very good at making stuff happen sometimes. In this regard, it's just maybe I'm not made for social media in a way, but I'm trying. And what I really like to do is give some insight of my work. That is what I really would like to do. We are talking about doing some classes, maybe, and not guitar necessarily, but producing, or like mixing and stuff like this. But what I really would love to do is like show you some of my friends, and from back in the day, and talk about old times, because I really like that, and meet up with my first band, stuff like this, just have around, and we talk about stuff, about old stories, and I really think it could be interesting for at least some people that are interested in my life as a musician would maybe be interested into that as well. It's just like how stuff came together, and it's like, yeah, that is what I have the most fun in, like communicate with people and stuff like this. Yeah, I would really love to do more stuff like that in the future, and maybe a little gear. I'll show you my gear, how I work with gear. Maybe that could be interesting if people are interested in that. And actually I'm always changing the way of working. Now I'm just coming back to a little bit more old school. And yeah, maybe we can talk about gear. I mean, you can also ask me, of course. We will for sure do more of this question and answer type of thing, because this is like a direct thing. You can communicate with the people, and this is what I really will continue doing, of course. I will maybe make a playthrough of a song here and there, and yeah, stuff like this, I would say. But if you have ideas, you can also just write me, and I consider doing that as well, as long as it's not me dancing naked in the garden.